Hi, this is Scott Ware with Radiance Magazine and the Radiance channel on the Xpnsion network, which can be found on Roku and Amazon Fire Stick. And Radiance Magazine can be found at radiancemagazine.org. And I have with me Jerry Yusko, who is a healer like you've probably never seen. Jerry, say hello.
Hello to you, Scott. How you doing this fine, beautiful day?
Great, thank you. And you doing good?
I'm doing fantastically well. Excellent.
Okay, great. So Jerry and I, we know each other pretty well. We like to joke around a bit. And, but I've got to see him in action as a healer, as someone who can read energy. He can read, actually look inside your body, can see energetically what's going on there, what might be getting in the way. He's done this on the fly with me. We've been out at different places and he'll just start talking to somebody, maybe because I made the connection. And what do you do, Jerry? You start looking at their aura, and how does that work?
Simply, I look at the aura first. That tells me what's happening with them, whether their shoulders out of alignment, whether they're in pain, or their emotional, mental state of mind. And then if I want to go further, I will actually go into their chakras and read the individual chakras and let them know whether they're in sync or out of sync with each other, and then put them back into alignment through a couple of techniques. One is the hands-on transferring energy of their own back into their body, and the other one is through a scanning technique of realigning energy within their body.
And that sounds like so far out and fantastical, but you've had such great effect. People have, I mean, they book sessions with you, of course. You don't even have really, well, I mean, your website really isn't as up to date. People can find you better on Facebook. Because you just spend more time, less time on the technology, more time on just one-on-one healings with people, which I know you're also doing out of Body Studios in Anaheim, spelled B-O-T-I, Body Studios. And they can find you on Facebook. I just want to mention this, Jerry Yusko, Y-U-S-K-O. But yeah, people notice when you're working with them, you're looking about an inch off to the side because you're seeing their aura. Have you always been able to see people's auras and know what's going on with them and how they can get realigned or energetically refined or enhanced to be more well, have more wellness?
No, I could not always see auras. I was more intuitive, more psychic, and I could tell things that were going to happen in the future before they did. Long story short, I created a group called The Blending, and in The Blending, I was thrown into it from manager to, we have so many people, you need to be a vendor and start working with people. And right there on the spot, I had to come up with a way of helping people in the quickest manner possible. So I started scanning them. I could tell exactly what was happening. And it was almost like a form of telekinesis. I won't, yeah, picking up their energy, and then it went almost into like visualization, which it stays right now, of actually seeing imagery and seeing really exactly what's inside their body. I can see the blood flow, I can see the bones, I can see all kinds of things.
And then you do some energy work on them to help them clear those things. And what do people tell you afterwards, how they feel and what happens with them?
They feel fantastic. It's a two-way fold. One is because I got their energy moving, because it is a form of massage, but it's more of allowing their body to have less restriction so their energy can actually flow through them. Because one of the things I did, and I did this for you as well, you know how I go like this and I move your energy up through your spine, almost like a Kundalini type of energy?
Yes.
But what I'm doing is, your higher self told me exactly what you wanted to be in alignment to your purpose and goals at that moment. And then after that, I will tell you, this is what you said you wanted, and this is what your higher self said you truly needed.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I've even taken classes with you where you're doing a metaphysical class or a class on enhancing your intuitive abilities. which is actually a kind of an inexpensive way to get also kind of a reading from you, because you would help us be able to read another person. They would read us, and then you would tell us what we got out of reading them. And I mean, it's very interesting how you work. And are you going to be teaching some of those classes at Body Studios this year in 2020?
Yes, I will. One of the classes you took was, remember when we did a remote viewing session
Yes.
and you had the envelopes, and I didn't know what was in their envelopes because I didn't know who picked what. And then you described what you got, and I told you where you were in the scene of your reading. That was really cool.
You did a great job there. Yes. It's amazing. It's so great. So I mean, people benefit, you know, being able to enhance their abilities, because we can all do this, right? You're a magician of sorts or a wizard, but we can all be, right?
Yes. That's what the whole techniques are about, bringing out the best of what you can do. Not just what you're trained to do, but bring out your natural talents and modality is what I like doing. I like seeing what you're truly capable of compared to what you think you need.
So these are natural abilities. Wouldn't it be interesting to live in a world where people were raised this way, all the children were raised this way, and everyone's operating other intuitive abilities? Well, and there was that kind of world before, right? Before religion sort of took a big hold. How was life back? How was life back then with that?
Are you talking about Lemuria or Atlantis, or during the golden ages of like the Persians and the Greeks and stuff like that?
Any of that, or even pagans and druids maybe too, but any of that, yeah.
Yeah, depending on what side of the fence you were on, it was really a nice time, because my own philosophy about this is the teachings of the great masters, and I teach about the masters and how to ascend into light, because that's what I'm doing right now.
Yep.
As my daily ritual. It wasn't the energy, but the knowledge has been so scaled down to what we truly can do as human beings.
Yep.
That you have to really become in tune back into Mother Earth and the higher masters to really start bringing in that energy of the universe. And the great thing about right now is, since we're going through the galactic center,
yes,
the energy is abundant for everyone. So if you really wish to learn your modalities, who you are, what you can do, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, the energies are interesting. There's a lot coming into this period, but it's interesting. You just made me think that, so we were using these powers, more of our intuitive abilities in the past. It was only a few civilizations, a few societies like the Native Americans and Aborigines that continued to, because they were left alone for a while. But this allowed science to flourish, right? It allowed the linear thinking and science, and we've made great advancements. But now it's going to be interesting. We have that to sort of bring back the natural, beautiful technology, if you will, that's within our soul, within our spirit. So that's going to be interesting, having that come back up with science right there. How's that going to work together?
The one thing I like about metaphysics is they're always proving what metaphysical people can do by trying to prove that they can't do it. And science and religion, I think, eventually will become hand in hand. Instead of being opposing forces, as people start developing their true intuitive abilities, their true connection to source. And I teach this in one of my classes, that we are an X-ray machine, we are an MRI machine. We have every ability that our modern technology creates.
Right.
And the reason why is because every single wave of the universe flows through us in one way or the other. And it's how we tap into it that transfers the information into reality through us.
All right, so I'm going to ask you something. So we have these phones now that are doing what we thought could only be done on Star Trek, on a TV show like that, but they can be done. But but then there's some radiation, and we can mitigate that a bit, but there's some effects. But you believe that we can do a lot of things like telekinesis, move things with our minds, read minds, have telepathy, and maybe even turn water into wine, alchemy. Can you speak to those things?
Yeah, now, the first one is mental telepathy. We do have it. You can have it with human beings to human beings if you're really close to them. There's just an energy exchange that you know. A lot of people that have ever dealt with extraterrestrial life forms, one of the biggest ways that they say they communicate is through mental telepathy. What I'm going to is the next step, what you just mentioned, which was turning water into wine. You called it alchemy. It's not. Alchemy is a chemical reaction to something.
Okay.
When you really get into it, and I've been doing this, when you really start communicating with water, when you really start understanding how to become part of water, it is no longer alchemy. It's a transference of new energy.
Okay.
So you're not changing a chemical aspect. You are actually communicating to the life of an aspect. And that's really hard to understand, but water produces, believe it or not, an aura, just like everything else. It's understanding how to become that part of the aura or that part of the energy of something. So the true alchemy, if you want to look at it, when you would become the transference, not the element that you're trying to create.
So yeah, we can get into you could really geek out on this, obviously, and you do, and you are studying these things. So this is like an advanced version or advanced class that you might teach. But essentially, if someone makes an appointment with you, what kind of people or in what situations would you recommend? Like who's the person who should be looking you up on Facebook and inquiring as to booking a session with you?
The general public, but most of the people that I work with, believe it or not, are other teachers, are other people that do exactly like I do.
Okay.
Because I have an ability to see into people, even though we learn protection, even though we learn all these techniques to protect ourselves and surround ourselves with energy, I have seen a couple of things. One, people don't realize that their third eye can burn out and they need to replace it.
Wow.
Two, most residual energy is built up in the spinal cord. I know because I've seen it, and it almost looks like black goo. Okay?
Okay.
So people that need to have clearing, refresh vitality of energy, they should be speaking me out. People that are curious about learning new modalities or teaching should seek me out. People that, and this is what I get a lot of, people that have had extraterrestrial contact, because that was the background that I came from before I started working with masters, they even seek me out to help rid them of implants, of contamination, or even help them through memories of their encounters. So that would be another group of people that would seek me out. And then the majority are people that just have questions. Because the one thing about me, I'm a cold reader. I don't use tarot cards, crystals, or pendulums or anything like that. I just can look at you and then say, this is what I'm seeing.
Right.
So.
And I've seen you do that. We were out one time and we met a woman who just immediately, we just found out so much about her. You helped her in a short amount of time. And that's, I've seen that personally. And there were things you told her that there was no way you could know, but I guess you would be an evidential psychic.
I think so. I have no idea. But I think I know what you're referring to. When we're at the donut shop?
Yeah, the health food shop. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The health food shop. I like that. But that interview could be seen on Greg Friedman, um, iHeartRadio, KX 930.5, I believe.
Yeah, if you do a search, Jerry Yusko and Greg Friedman, it'll come up in a couple different ways, that radio interview. That was great.
Yeah. So we talked about that somewhat.
Yeah.
And that's the
But
kind
that's
of
just
thing
what
I do.
yeah, that's just what you do. So people would seek you out if they're just unsure, maybe about their life direction, what they should do, or their love life, or what other kinds of things do you share with people that you see?
I share their empowerment.
Hmm.
Most people don't know their purpose, and because I can go into the chakras, I can go and talk to the higher self.
Hmm.
People split themselves between three ways: the soul within, the mental mind, and then the higher spirit. And I can talk to all three of them. So that is one of my unique abilities. In fact, some people, they think I can read minds because of what I can do.
Hmm.
And I don't read minds per se.
You read energy, probably.
Yeah, I guess that's the best way of putting it. And you can read the energy. If you can see an aura, you can read the energy from someone. And people, I learned, broadcast with their mind because most people don't know how to filter it.
Right.
So that is what I'm doing. And that's, I think, what all metaphysical people that are really good in their field can do. They can read the energy. And I just happen to be one of these intuitives that can read energy very well from what I've been told.
Well, and if you, when you do turn the water into wine, get ready to have statues erected to you and paintings in people's bedrooms, maybe, because there was only one other person who's done that before, right?
Yeah, let me explain something about that. I've been doing a ritual to turn water into wine, but it's not about turning the water into wine yet, because the water's already wine before I even start. It's understanding more of who I am and the transitioning of turning that water into wine. Because you
Right.
really have to get deep into letting go of your thoughts and understanding the element of what you are doing.
It's sort of like in the Matrix when they said the spoon doesn't bend, you become the spoon, you are the spoon.
Yeah, and as you keep doing it, you keep discovering new areas of your mind of who you are, what you are. Um, it's almost like a master meditation without doing it for 10 hours
Right.
because
Okay.
because you have a focus on the clarity of what you're doing. So it's
Jerry,
really
are
interesting.
we talk about being one with these things. Are we all one as one people? And if so, how should that dictate or suggest what we might do with our purpose in our life?
We are one because we have the same chromosomes. We have the same basically DNA. It's just that the DNA creates the colors and skin and all like that of what we are. Excuse me. What I found out is, and I don't understand about this book, when we look at it like we're just one species upon this planet with different cultures, you can have no race system at that point. Okay, but we do
True.
because we divide ourselves. But what I'm finding out, when you're really in tune to who you are and that unconditional love starts coming out and understanding, because the simplest form of looking at us is, what do we all share in common? And this is the biggest secret of all, but it's our water. And as we change internally within, the water structure of what we become resonates to the outside world. And that's really what changing the water into wine is. is changing what you are to reflect to the outside world.
This is a perfect example of what you're teaching in your classes, again, at Body Studios. So people can reach you. I'm not sure if you want to give a phone number, but definitely on Facebook, Jerry, Yusko. Very easy to find there on Facebook.
And I do have a website. It's the empowermentofoneness.com. I don't check it out that much, I'll be honest, but I am, through your help, going to get that problem resolved. So I've been checking into that.
So it's the empowerment of oneness?
The empowerment of oneness.
Excellent. Jerry, thanks for doing this interview with me. I know people will be reaching out to you as a result of this. Thank you very much for being here.
Well, Scott, thank you for inviting me today. I had a wonderful time, and I hope to talk to you soon.
You shall. All right. Thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.